It seems to be a very clear move that Hollywood right now wants to be very much as separated and far away as possible from anything and everything that has to do with AI. Now, I have talked about AI several times on this channel, and I've talked about it in a way that is very open and understanding to it, even though I do believe that actors will have to be the ones on film, and AI will only have to be a secondary tool that can be used to maybe speed up the process of filmmaking. Because honestly, between a movie that takes a year to be made and a movie that you could, in the same time frame, make probably in maybe 4 months, I do think that the process will become shorter with AI eventually. Now, the topic of this video is not AI, but in fact a movie that very vehemently and very forcefully is 100% fighting against AI in a big way. And luckily, that movie is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. So when I first heard about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, I was like, okay, this is an interesting movie. I saw the trailer, I looked at it and I was like, ooh, interesting. We have a really interesting cast here. You know, you have obviously in the lead role, Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell is always a pleasure to see on film or even in TV shows such as White Lotus. But Sam Rockwell is a great actor, and seeing him in this sort of like big zany role, which I think fits him really well, by the way. He did great in this film, but seeing him in this movie was really fun. And then obviously you have other people who just make the casting even better. So I mean, you have Michael Pena, who just shows up in this movie, as well as Zazie Beetz. You have Haley Lou Richardson in this movie. I mean, just that alone, just those names alone that I just mentioned are enough for this movie to just be a fantastic film, because all of them are fantastic actors, you know. And honestly, like, seeing these stories be pieced out and put into place and be like their own standing stories are awesome. And then obviously you have Juno Temple, who is like an absolute surprise in this film. Honestly, like, give this woman a freaking Oscar, okay? Like, I know she's been nominated before. Give her a freaking Oscar already, okay? Because she's great in this movie. So, you know, you have this, like, you know, build out of characters that you know, start to piece their day-to-day lives together. And I love how this is a movie that stands very firmly on the we do not want AI controlling our lives. And I love that, you know, it's a very clear message, and it's very much against AI, but they do it in sort of a comedic way that, as much comedy as there is in this movie, there's a lot of heart and a lot of care that is taken into account here that is great. I love that. I love that this movie goes in the direction it does. You know, it's almost as if we took a slice of a time loop movie, and ultimately we are just seeing like a small piece. Like, he says, like, oh, I've been here 117 times. So we're just getting a slice of a time loop movie and seeing how that progresses. And then ultimately we go back to the beginning at the very end of the movie. But I love how they handled this movie. We are understanding that each character in this sort of group of people have been affected by AI or technology or phones in some sort of way. And seeing how each one progresses is almost like if you had like 3 separate episodes of, say, Black Mirror. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Like, each little like story that we see from each character feels almost like a little tiny slice of a Black Mirror episode, and we're getting it in this film. So seeing all of how all of this plays out, who all these people are, their experiences, the people who are affected by, these moments that technology takes over, is very interesting. Because a movie nowadays that actually stands against technology might say like, oh, but you're being, completely like against it, yet you're using CG and using all these technologies to actually fulfill this film, yet you're going against it. Well, I feel like the messaging is much stronger for a movie like this, because what you're doing is you're essentially sitting down and saying, hey, listen, AI is not good for humanity, and we need to stop it somehow where we can like ultimately connect with one another. And I feel like the cold shoulders and not wanting to be with people in proximity and that sort of thing, I mean, ultimately, like I've said this with people around and stuff, like we created smartphones, and smartphones are probably one of the greatest inventions we've ever created. Yet at the same time, it's probably one of the worst inventions we've also created. So it's a double-edged sword. Technology is a bit of a double-edged sword, but I feel like this movie takes all of this, amplifies it to the level that you're like, holy cow, this is insane. Like, this movie can be zany sometimes, but I feel like technology is heading in that direction where, yeah, people are not communicating as much, and yeah, people are sitting at the table and not caring about, what somebody else did because they're too busy on their phones looking over text messages and not wanting to have conversations. And as comedic as it may seem in this movie, I feel like the messaging is very clear and actually serious, to the point of like you wanting to be a little bit more introspective and understand that maybe we need to take a break from our devices and maybe connect a little bit more on a deeper level to the people that we have in our lives. And I feel like that's a really important message to convey, even if the movie is a bit zany and comedic. Now, is this movie going to win any awards for cinematography? Probably not. Probably not cinematography. It feels like a movie that was very cheaply made, and at the same time, as cheap as this movie may seem or feel, I feel like even then the messaging is still strong regardless, because ultimately you have a really good story that plays into something that is very modern and very much current in our day and age. This movie, as a comedy, it works, but for a very specific point in time that we are in, where AI is everywhere, everything can be vibe coded, or we can create images or create things using prompts, which, by the way, one of the funniest lines in this movie is a very simple line where Sam Rockwell's like, guys, bad prompt, Like, he is so used to seeing AI from the future he's in that he's even making jokes about something crazy that he is seeing right in front of him. So yeah, I think that once you go into how crazy and how zany things happen in this movie are, you have to kind of like step back and be like, okay, wait a second. What is the messaging that it's conveying here? And ultimately, even though the cinematography isn't great and it was cheaply made easily, and even though that some of the CG, and probably most of the CG, I would say, is absolutely excellent in this movie, the CG is actually quite excellent, even then, I feel like the movie's messaging is on point. And I feel like that's the strongest thing I can say about this movie. And it also added more to my curiosity as to how this movie would play out when I saw this Rotten Tomatoes score, which I feel like is very rare. A Rotten Tomatoes score that is so balanced like this, like, 86, 84, or 86, 83, or that sort of thing, like, that's fairly balanced. That means that critics and audiences kind of saw it the same way, and I feel like it's a greater conversation piece than it's led on to be. So when you see the trailer, you're like, oh, he's just a time traveler, that he's trying to save us from, the apocalypse or whatever. Like, you see it and it looks like a big joke, but ultimately he's kind of like right. Like, he's fighting against having a future where we can actually discuss things and talk about things and not have to deal with, technology as sort of like an intermediary thing, being that we're human beings. We're supposed to be interacting with one another, talking to one another, physically and in person, rather than just virtually or in a video game world where ultimately your mind just becomes addicted to that. So I think it lands on that aspect. Now, obviously, as this movie ended, the question that everybody has on their mind played out in my head as well. Will we get a sequel? And honestly, I would love a sequel to this movie. Like, honestly, like, if they do this movie in the same fashion as, oh, we're gonna go again and again and do like an actual time loop sequel to this movie, I would love it. I would love to see them play it out till the very end. And that would be really fun, because this movie, as much as you may not see it that way, but this movie technically ends on a cliffhanger. Like, hey, we could easily do a second movie, and if they do decide to do a second movie, I am in full support, and I can't wait to see it. So I'm going to correct something that I said earlier. I said that Juno Temple was nominated for an Oscar. No, she was not nominated for an Oscar, but she should be. She should be nominated for an Oscar because she did a great job in this film. And honestly, I just think that being that she's one of the last people to get out of this whole situation alive, I think that she did great in this film. She's just a great actress, and she deserves to be nominated for an Oscar. Even if it's not for this movie, she definitely should be. So all in all, I think that the messaging truly does land in this film. I think that for the movie that it is, yeah, it's 2 hours long, but I feel like you need to have those pieces of the film there. You need to have some backstory to each character, how they ended up in this diner, how their day went, or how was their life affected by AI or technology, or a combination of both, or video games, or whatever it is that affects their life into, ultimately the quote-unquote apocalypse. So I truly think that as zany, quirky, and fun as this movie is, the messaging is there. And I repeated that very line already several times throughout this video, but it is true. And I truly do recommend you go and watch this movie. It's a low-budget movie. You're going to have fun because you're going to get to see Sam Rockwell and Haley Lee Richardson and all these other actors who are fantastic that are in this movie and are just absolutely having a ball with this movie. I can tell that when you see an actor and they're having fun, they just embody it in their performances. And I can tell that they were having an absolute blast making this movie. And ultimately, they agree with the message that it conveys. And if you are like most people and believe that AI has no place in filmmaking, and filmmaking is an art form that needs to be made handmade, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you down below in the comments. And if maybe you are a defender of AI, I want to hear also from you. Why do you think AI is great and needs to be used in filmmaking? I want to hear from all perspectives and all sides on this topic, as well as if you watched this movie and what did you think of the film, and will you watch this movie? Because honestly, I was not expecting how this movie was going to turn out, and it turned out pretty freaking cool. So please, let's have that discussion in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when new videos go live on this channel. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.
Scrolling through YouTube, same old routine, then bam, movie savant, what a scene. Trivia bombshells dropping knowledge like rain. Forget the dishes, gotta watch it again. Movie buffs unite, savants to place. Subscribe and hit the bell, don't leave a trace. Next level knowledge keeps you in the loop. Savants got the scoop, ain't nothing to recoup.